today's video, we take you on a tour of the Clunie Garage Workshop. Duck's guts. Before we take you on a tour of the shop, you might notice that I'm wearing a hat and got this beautiful FXD work shirt on, very nice, and shorts, you know, they get a hiding, and these hats as well. And you probably see behind me here the merch we're going to get you guys able to purchase if you're interested. Over to Fred Jr.
Yes, now as Fred said, we've got a couple new merch lines come through. We've got a beautiful little collared shirt here, which not right up my alley, but I know Fred's been wearing this one like there's no tomorrow. If you see the back,
oh,
beautiful design on it. Little Clunie Garage with the YouTube play button as well. And then I reckon the piece de resistance, the more useful generation one might say, the Clunie Garage hoodie.
Oh.
Embroidered logo. Have a look at that. It's not going to fall over, it's not screen printed. We don't do that here. Look, have a look at this.
Mm.
And in fact, I'm wearing one right now. Have a go at this one.
Oh.
And honestly, it's probably one of the most comfortable hoodies I've worn. So, if you'd like a hoodie, I think we need to order more of these. If you want a shirt, I think they come in. We've got an XL and L. Got a couple sizes there for the bigger humans. So if you want that, you'd like to email us at this address here, or get in touch with us on our Facebook at Clunie Garage, and we'll be able to sort you right out with the pricing. Now you might be wondering, oh gee, Fred Jr., that sounds good, but where are the regular t-shirts? Well, don't worry, they're on the way. We got white t-shirts, we got black t-shirts coming. But again, you can order those now. Just get in touch with us below, and we'll get you sorted the first ones to have official Clunie Garage merch.
Alright, back to the garage tour. Long awaited episode. Everyone asks us about this shed, where it came from, how big it is, and all the rest of it. We're going to take you through all that today, including our best tools that we use and how we use the garage and how we make all the videos for you guys to check out. So let's start with the size. As you can see from the thumbnail, it ain't no small thing here. It's 20 meters long by about 11 meters wide. It's got 3 bays, and it's an American barn style. So you can see, Fred Jr., the height of the roof there. We did that because we've got our semi-trailer truck that we're restoring here, and we've got our, obviously we had a massive tractor that we used to have here, so we needed a really tall roof, and over time we will build a mezzanine level, you know, probably towards the back end of the barn there. But we got it this size here, so we can also get some massive lifts, so we can get under our cars and work on them as well. So we bought the big size to start with, and yeah, as you can see, all steel construction. One criticism we do get is, you know, these are great for hitting the side of your car door, but we've got a bit of an invention to stop you doing that. But when you go to a size of shed of this size, having these pylons in the middle, it's unavoidable. So the way we use the shed is we've got our main lanes on the right hand side where we park our daily drivers, and we've got most of our project cars on the left here. And that's because it's a little bit harder to get in and out of this left hand side, and for cars that we are working on, we work on them right here, and that's because we get lots of light. You can get to the doors open and all the rest of it, and we'll probably end up putting the lift in around here, and then our big truck will actually go to our other farm as well. But this is not a bad little area to work in. You get lots of air, you know, particularly when we're painting and all the rest of it, so and grinding. So as you can see, Fred Jr., we've got our race car ute here, and this is our 2010 VESS.
Now, Fred, if I'm not mistaken, you did a great paint job with Frankie.
We did.
But there's still some remnants of the snot box that it used to be on the inside.
Yes,
here.
It's got a little bit of Kerpit Green and some Baby Yoda there, Fred Jr., but we're going to get onto that. But that's probably going to be a project that, you know, next couple of weeks we'll get onto that. But for those of you that wonder this wonderful finish, it's a rattle can paint job, if you can believe it or not. And then we've just got some good old stickers made up, and you know, look at this big beautiful vinyl one here, thanks to our friends at Funky Car Skins. And they're also going to be doing our livery on our other race car as well, and possibly, Fred Jr., your new project car, which we'll talk about in a second as well. But the only other additions, I've come back here, Fred Jr., that viewers may not have seen, is we've now got a windscreen banner. And this part of the garage here, Fred Jr., we really don't do much here at all because this is Frankie's Ford corner, so to speak. So we sort of this stuff in a bit of disgust, you know, just quietly. We don't really, and that's why the bug catcher's here too, so we can zap all the gremlins that are hanging out with these falcons. So, but yeah, so and got the old mower here. But yeah, this end of the shed we don't do much at all. All good. All right, we're starting to work out where some of the shelving and equipment storage is here for our shed. Next to Fred Jr.'s Brock Commodore race car that we're building, we've got our little generator, first of our air compressors. So if we need to quickly just pump our tyres up, we've got a small little air compressor here, and then we've got our big one down the back that we'll show you as well. But that's a really handy spot for when you're pumping tyres and checking tyre pressures, and particularly on the go-kart as well. We'll run an airline, but we've got our little, it's only a baby little phone, it's only 1.25, that little guy. First of our storage areas. So I do a lot of chainsawing, so I keep a lot of stuff up here. We'll talk about chainsaws in a second. First of our fridges, Fred Jr. And we've got our beautiful Farmall tractor mural there. And this is our first of our benches here as well. So this bench here we use for all our charging equipment. So we've got our DeWalt DACs, we've got our Makita stuff too for some of our grinders, and so on. And easy power board here. Do a little bit of editing on this guy here, and the rest of it we do up on our major PC. And then all our GoPro footage and all that sort of stuff that you see out on the track is based on attachments in this little guy here. So we've got our suction cap for the windscreen, and we've got all our other adapters and brackets and all the rest of it. So when you see Fred and Frankie howling around the track, it's because of our GoPro. That's all we use.
Now, just before you continue, speaking of the track, is it true that you've booked in another track day?
We're going to be back there with the Jimmy Gitnats halfway team, 19th of November. Get there. Now, many of you would know that I'm a huge Ayrton Senna fan, and one of the most prized possessions in the garage is this little picture here of Ayrton. Frankie got me that for my my birthday. It's a beautiful little mural there of many of Senna's previous race cars and some of his greatest wins as well, which is another fitting reason why we've got our little go-kart stand here. So we've got all our stuff for we run our ELF racing lubricants for our two-stroke mix. We've got our jug to mix things up. This is not something out of Breaking Bad, don't worry about that. That's the mix-up two-stroke. And borrowed Rachel's whisk, so that's all good. Don't worry about that. Thank you, Mrs. Freak. And yeah, just some other stuff here too, some spare chains and lube and all the rest of it, and we start to store most of our spare fuel down there as well. All right, Fred Jr., coming down this way, one of our major tool chests. So this is a lot of stuff in here. So top drawer, sockets, drivers, all that sort of stuff. We've got all our coilover spanners. This little king chrome set here has been fantastic. It's got all the different Allen keys and bits and pieces. And then for the real hardcore stuff, we've got our real hard air drive material here, which is powered by this big fella here. So particularly for the International Harvester, the truck, when we're using, getting leaf springs off and all that sort of stuff, you need big, heavy air tools. So we use one of those guys here. And then we've got the rest of our stuff. We've got all our Sid Chrome socket spanners, pliers, a little bit of OCD here from young Fred, but always know when one's missing, and then you know what to grab as well, particularly when Fred Jr. is scurrying around for a 10mm. Look at this here, Fred Jr., that's quite exquisite, isn't it? Holding the final chapter, there's more of that where that come from as well. So for those of you that have always said, seen Fred Jr. behind the camera and behind the wheel sometimes, there is a Fred Jr. And here he is, here is a little rugby player. There he is, there he's a good looking bloke, isn't he? So he's going on the next episode of Farmer Wants a Wife, so if you want to see him in a couple of years. Anyway, here's the Bowden's Tower of Power here, so all of our Bowden's equipment here. So that's always good to find, and got some interesting names on these products here. And then we've got some of our first semi-slicks here, our Nankangs and Nittos, our engine that we're building here, and there's a very special picture in here for a Junior of me and my granddad here up at our other farm. So that's him there, and I remember that day with that semi-trailer and the smell of cattle. That was on a Boxing Day rounding up cattle, and yeah, I looked a touch anxious that day because I was scared, selfless. And many of you know my my first muscle car, that blue Tirana A9X replica. All right, let's keep going. All right, the go-kart. Love this little thing here, Tony Kart 401 Racer. Pictured behind some of our thought boards for our videos. We put our backlog there of the types of videos we're doing. But this thing here, it's a maniac, just quietly. It really is a handful, and we just can't wait to get back out there. And so we get all our tradecraft and our racing practice on the go-kart. We don't actually race in any competitions. We just go to the track and do laps. But I tell you what, you know you've done a couple of rounds of Mike Tyson after you've actually been racing around this, which brings me to the most important element. One day I did not take my rib vest out, and I'll tell you what, nearly broke my rib. So don't go look at the sort of rubbing that happens when you actually do wear your vest. So that's up against the side of the seat, hitting ripple strips and all the rest of it. So don't leave home without it. We love a bit of tyre conditioning here on the channel. It's a bit frowned upon, but particularly we've got some old tyres. We throw a bit of that old octopus grip on them. Happy days. Makes them last, and very sticky and greasy. So Frankie, Frankie put some of that on his Weet-Bix too, actually. He really enjoys that. Then we've got some of our old slicks here, Fred Jr., for our go-kart. That's my little saw. That's my little 441, sorry, that little fella. And then we've got the first of all our LS bits and stuff. So we've got all our trunnion gear and our rockers, and as you can see in here, they're all our rockers that are ready to go on our race car motor. They're all ready to go. Got our inlet manifold, we've got an old cam, some old heads, and keep all our battery chargers in that one. Some of our grinders and cutters in there. And yeah, so we don't normally have the merch hanging up here. This is sort of more of a display cabinet and stuff where we've got some stuff, but it's all good. Whilst we've got our big, snap-on style red drawers over there, we've got this movable one, and depending on where we are, we actually move this set of drawers around. So, we're close to the car up that end. You don't want to keep running back and grabbing an 8mm or a shifter and all that sort of stuff. So that one comes with us wherever we are, and it's on wheels, and this has been fantastic. It's like, these are quite a stackable unit as well, and I've had this for about 10 years now, and it's really good. Well, every garage needs a TV, and that's mine there. Not a well-known brand, the old Hisense, but it does all right. Out here in the garage, and if you have a look under here, Fred Jr., we've just got a bit of display stuff here. This is a tunnel ram manifold off a 460 big block that Frankie used to have. Got some of our OMP race gear and some of my Stillo helmet and my HGJC helmet and stuff, and just some shoes, and just like looking at them and have them out on display. And then that way, they're easy to find too when we go to the track. So there, and that's our cam for our race car motor. I won't pull it out, but that's our big lumpy normally aspirated cam that we bought, and our heads are still back at Gentech, so that's all right.
Now, Fred, while we're down here,
yep,
I seem to remember this House of Muscle banner.
Oh yes,
that was hanging up in my room before you took it down. Yeah,
well, we'll show you all the House of Muscle banners, but it's probably a good idea for a junior to have a look. Oh, we've got more slicks up here as well. They're off the a Hyundai and the Oinky wheels. But so these are some of my favourite muscle cars. So we've got Coupe there. We've got that Quinton's Tirana on it. That's a local car around here. Big block Chev. Very tidy SLR there. And this one's really cool. We've just got this one framed. We did a video about this one, the Holden Legacy, all the different badges, and they're not every badge that Holden have done, but there's a lot of them there, and it's limited edition. That little poster, gold leaf, and one of our favourite banners for a junior is that one. People probably see a lot of that in the background on the channel. And then you've got the first of our workbenches here, so a lot of our metal work and stuff we do on this one here. We've got our big drop saw, our vise, our welding station just here. We've got our magnets and our little clamps and stuff that we use. Our welder, we've got a MIG. I don't have a TIG at the moment, so I've just got a MIG welder. And then obviously for all our grinding and lanishing, we've got our bench grinder as well. So So Fred Jr., you're a bit of a welder, and what happened to my welding table just here?
Well, when I first started coming up to the shed, I was probably 13, 14 years old, curious little fella, and I decided, oh, Dad, could I learn to weld? And I ended up welding straight through the actual table, if you can see here, yes. And gone straight through.
I think you may have done a few of these other burn marks as well, but that's all right.
Yes, but all in the learning process.
Very good. So I mentioned before I do a lot of sawing, and I've just put a big bar on my big girl here, my 660. Have a go at the size of that. So this is a nice little spot here to clean the saws up, lube the chains. I keep all my chains hanging sort of up here so they don't touch each other and keep them lubed up. But this one here, it's it's quite top heavy now, but it's a madman, this thing here. You need to have your wits about you when you're using this thing. It's a lot of fun, but it's also bloody dangerous as well. So that's a brand new bar. We've got some huge gum trees that we're cutting up, and I'll be using that. So we're filming today's episode on grand final day, and it's later on tonight, and come on you little bunnies, let's see how we go. Watched them in 2014 and supported them as a little kid, and geez, I hope they win.
Yeah, are you a Bunnies fan because of you be fascinated with the Bra Boys, aren't you?
Oh, I don't know about that. So many people have seen my truck in the background here. It's a 1969 C1600 International Harvester that I'm restoring. Frankie and I have put the engine in. So that's a 345 V8 out of an old fire truck, Acco. So that's been quite the journey building this car, or this truck, sorry. Had it painted, done all the chrome, done all the rubbers, restored it as much as we can back to original. Have a look in there, Fred Jr. She's pretty Mickey Mouse, and we'll be taking that up to the farm one day too. And happy days. But as I mentioned before, this part of the garage is used to park all our cars, so you can easily get them in and out. And this is Mrs. Fred's little daily, little S5. It's an awesome car. It needs a wash at the moment, but it's quite handy. I mentioned in a previous episode that she hit a pothole and damaged one of the rims, which wasn't very much good fun. But have a look inside. These things are very Lamborghini inspired, these things. Oh, and it's locked, so you're gonna have to have a look through there for a junior. But diamond cooked stitching, and it's carbon fibre everywhere you look, and it's pretty cool. Speaking of cool, there's our House of Muscle banners that most people have seen. So this is my little daily. It's a little 2017 Type R, no, 2018, sorry, Type R. Only 30,000 clicks on the clock, and I've been babying this thing. As you can see, she's in pretty mint condition, and I'm just about to give it a wash, but not a bad daily. And yeah, you never know, we might give this a run up at Wakefield soon. So that's a bit of a whistle stop tour inside the shed. You know, I'll only show you the stuff that's worthwhile looking at. Let's have a look outside the shed. So when you've got a big shed like this, you've got to have water. So that's our water tank that we've got there. We'll power that off a little pump. And particularly for for bushfire seasons and stuff like that, we've got a couple of hoses. So we've got one off here that's all pressurized, and we've got another one out the front too. And that way we can got our own supply of water, and we can get to any part of the house and the land here with our hoses. And you might be, for those observant viewers, that's the Getz. So we'll just park that around the back for the moment, just because we've got enough room inside. But this little thing here will be hitting the track soon too. It's still looking pretty good for a junior. If you want to have a bit of a squiz in there for those people that haven't seen it. Not bad. Alright, so we might wrap things up there, but you may notice that Fred Jr.'s Honda Civic is still here, and it seriously needs a wash as well. But the latest edition of Motor has got this article about the new Toyota 86, and obviously the brethren being the Subaru BRZ. And it's a really interesting article about all the things that have changed and what the differences are with the new BRZ. So Fred Jr., you looking forward to it?
Oh, well, I mean, if the viewers have watched the previous video, they'd know that this one is getting traded in, and I think it's being traded in. I think we get to have a test drive later this year, don't we?
Oh, I think so, and then maybe March next year pick it up.
That's right.
Happy days. What colour are you getting?
think I'm getting that beautiful WRX blue, it's called.
Colin McRae blue, very nice. On that note, catch you later.